They called it the eighth wonder of the world, but wonders have a way of slipping through our fingers, vanishing, like smoke in the night. And this one glowed with the fire of 1,000 trapped suns. The Amber Room, a chamber built of fossilized light, a jewel box of honey, gold, and flame. And in 1945, it disappeared. Amber, the tears of ancient forests. Sap hardened over millions of years, capturing within it fragments of life, air bubbles, insects, even the veins of leaves. A resin that defied time, a resin that glowed like the sun itself. Since prehistory, amber was thought to hold magic. The Greeks called it electron, believing it trapped the breath of gods. The Romans carved it into amulets, swore it could cure illness, drive out demons. In the cold waters of the Baltic, peasants risked their lives to dive for it. Amber was never just a gemstone, it was sunlight, fossilized. And when Prussian artisans in the 18th century carved panels of it, polished it, joined it with gold leaf and mirrors, they created not just a room, they created a miracle. Berlin, 1701. King Frederick I of Prussia wanted something magnificent, something to rival Versailles. He called upon master carvers Gottfried Wolfram, Andreas Schluter, and Gottfried Thurau. The result was unlike anything the world had seen. 6 tons of amber, transformed into radiant panels, gilded mosaics, candelabras flickering against fiery walls. When the doors opened, witnesses said it was like stepping into the heart of the sun. No jewel, no crown, no cathedral came close. They whispered of a curse, that those who tried to own the room would never rest. That amber, though warm, held a cold hunger for those who possessed it. Whether the curse was real or simply a story whispered in candlelit courts, no one could tell. But in history, sometimes stories matter more than facts. Tsar Peter the Great visited Prussia. He was fascinated by Western art, architecture, and science. And when he saw the Amber Room, he was spellbound. Frederick William I of Prussia, eager to cement an alliance, made a gesture that would echo through centuries. He gifted the Amber Room to Peter. The panels were dismantled, crated, and shipped across frozen rivers to St. Petersburg. There, in the Catherine Palace at Tsarskoye Selo, it was rebuilt and expanded. Italian craftsmen added new mosaics, mirrors, and gilded flourishes. The Russians claimed it as their own. For 200 years, the Amber Room burned bright as the pride of an empire. Catherine the Great walked its halls in triumph. Foreign envoys stood in awe, trembling under its glow. Generations of Romanovs used it as a stage of power. It was more than a chamber. It was a statement. Russia does not borrow greatness. Russia creates it. But time has a way of turning glory into target. The world was already burning. Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa. 3 million German soldiers marched east, devouring the Soviet Union. And among their orders, written, signed, and sealed, was one particular prize: the Amber Room. Nazi ideology believed many treasures of Eastern Europe rightfully belonged to Germany. And so the Amber Room, born in Prussia, stolen by Russia, would be returned to the Reich. The Soviets weren't blind. Curators in the Catherine Palace tried desperately to save it. They attempted to dismantle the panels, but amber is brittle. Pieces cracked in their hands, breaking like thin glass. Desperate, they tried another plan. They covered the room with wallpaper, painted over seams, hoped the Germans would pass by without noticing. But how could they not notice? Even hidden, the room glowed. And so in September 1941, German soldiers entered, stripped it bare, and packed it into 27 crates. In 36 hours, 2 centuries of beauty were gone. On a train bound west, the eighth wonder of the world vanished into the smoke of war. The crates arrived in Königsberg. In the castle there, the panels were reassembled. Once again, the amber room glowed, though this time under the swastika. Goebbels himself toured the room, grinning at the triumph. Photographs were taken. Visitors gasped. But history is a cruel audience, because within 3 years, Königsberg itself would become a graveyard. British bombers reduced Königsberg to rubble. Incendiary raids turned streets into rivers of flame. The castle shook under the onslaught. The amber room, fragile as a candle, survived for a time. By January 1945, the Red Army advanced. Panic spread among German officials. Treasure after treasure was loaded into crates, sent westward, hidden in mines, on trains, on ships. And the amber room? No one knows. Some say it was dismantled and evacuated by truck. Others claim it was loaded onto the ship Wilhelm Gustloff, sunk by a Soviet submarine in the icy Baltic, taking thousands of lives, and perhaps the amber room to the bottom of the sea. Another story whispers of tunnels, deep beneath the earth, where crates were sealed and buried. Waiting, silent, April came. The Red Army stormed Königsberg. The castle burned. Flames devoured its halls. Witnesses spoke of amber, melting, dripping from the walls like honey, a golden chamber dissolving into smoke. When the fire died, the amber room was gone. The Soviets searched the ruins. They found nothing, not a panel, not a crate, not even dust. It was as if the room had never existed. But legends have a way of clinging to life. Whispers began to spread. One theory: the Nazis hid the panels in underground salt mines. Salt preserves. The amber could still be there, waiting. Another: it sank with the Wilhelm Gustloff. In the darkness of the Baltic, untouched, a sunken room sleeps beneath the waves. Another: it was burned, destroyed forever, in Königsberg Castle, reduced to ash and molten resin. And yet another, more sinister, that Soviet soldiers themselves destroyed it, either by accident or intention, and covered it with silence. After the war, the hunt began. KGB officers interrogated locals, raided archives, tracked rumors, but no trace emerged. In the 1970s, treasure hunters obsessed over it. They tunneled into mountains, dove into lakes, explored mines filled with poison gas. Some died in their search. The curse, they whispered, was still alive. Fragments appeared. Mosaics from the amber room, confirmed as authentic, surfaced in Germany, in the hands of a soldier's family. If fragments survived, could the whole chamber? Modern explorers speak in hushed tones of the room's possible locations. Some say it lies beneath a sunken ship, trapped in Baltic waters, impervious to depth and cold. Others claim it is buried in the forests of East Prussia, hidden in bunkers built by men who knew the world was ending. A few even believe it resides in a private collection somewhere, its existence denied by those with the means to conceal it. And still, no one has found it. But the Amber Room does more than inspire treasure hunts. It exposes the fragility of culture. It reminds us that beauty is transient, that human ambition, greed, and war can consume wonders faster than time itself. And yet, there is hope. Hope carried in amber fragments, recovered from cellars, attics, and private collections. Hope carried in the maps, scrawled by obsessive hands. Hope carried in the imagination of every historian, artist, and dreamer who has ever seen a photograph of its golden panels. Some nights, I imagine the room, the candlelight flickering against amber walls, reflecting shadows that move like spirits. A visitor steps inside. Their breath catches. They see their own face in the mirrors, distorted by centuries of reflection. And they realize the amber room is not just a room. It is a story, a warning, a whisper from the past. It tells us that every war leaves scars beyond blood and stone, that every act of greed leaves holes in history, holes that may never be filled. Sometimes, the greatest treasures are not the ones we hold, but the ones we chase. History is a cruel storyteller. It rewards patience and punishes arrogance. Through its cruelty, it leaves us with mysteries, mysteries that shine like trapped sunlight. And the amber room, the lost amber room, is the brightest of them all. Even today, when the wind rattles the windows of the Catherine Palace and tourists wander through empty halls, some claim they see a flicker of gold, a shimmer in the shadows, a reminder that the room was never truly gone, only hidden. And maybe that is the cruelest magic of all, that something so radiant, so alive, can vanish, yet continue to haunt us, because we are human. In obsession. In every story we tell about the fire trapped behind gilded panels,